Welcome back from that break. I'm Helena Nyeweje and I'm still here with Nanaya Atanobuachi and Desmond Okreko Danso. I know a lot of people love to watch plays because really most times we talk about stuff that we are personally experiencing or stuff that we have already experienced. So more or less talking about our real life stories and certain things that others have also experienced in life. And today we are here to talk about one of your favorite plays that will be taking place very soon. We have in the studio with us here to do the discussion, Nana Fredria Ofori-Atta. He's a creator, he's a co-executive producer, co-host Culture Chat, and also board chairman for National Theatre. You are welcome to our studios.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Hope you are doing great.
God's grace.
Okay. I mean, we are talking about love language, yes, and love is our pride. Now, before we even delve into that, with what you are a producer, you are board chair for the National Theatre. I mean, it tells us a lot already about your capabilities. I would like to know what you think about the Ghanaian movie industry at the moment.
I wasn't prepared for that question at all. Okay. I don't know if I should be answering this because
I just want to know your basic thoughts if you wish to answer, but if not,
about the movie industry in Ghana.
Yes, and play.
Okay, so I think it's too westernized. I don't think they were projecting Ghana enough. Okay. And I think that when we project Ghana, it tends not to be extremely positive. It doesn't portray confidence because we're basic things. How they speak, the kinds of things they project, the clothes they wear. It's all too westernized, in my opinion. We should be more independent in our thinking and our portrayal of who we are. So otherwise, the storylines are interesting.
Okay. I mean, that's good to hear. But moving forward, language is our pride. I would like you to tell us more about that.
Well, so Culture Chat is developed primarily from the National Theatre because we realized that between policymakers and stakeholders in the arts like you, there isn't enough discussion, and so there isn't enough being paid attention to. So, for example, on your programs, when I watch them, not just this, but a whole host of others, there's a lot of negative talk about the industries, and it's not growing, and it's not fruitful, and it's not. And meanwhile, there's a lot going on. So how do we switch the conversation to positivity, achievement, and recognition that there's a lot more to do? A lot more to do should come not only from the actors in the field, but also from policymakers. So, for example, you're asking the state and therefore government, what have they done about our culture policy? How important is it? What role does it play in film? Maybe in the policy, they'll come up with things that encourage producers to project Ghana in a better light, assuming that what I said earlier is true. So all of those things matter. So at the National Theatre, we thought, well, we need to find a way for this conversation to happen, and that's what brought up Culture Chat. So Culture Chat is a forum that we've created that runs, now that we have a partnership with Metro, it's coming on about weekly, but we hold a live event at least once a month. On this particular project, our language is our pride. We have the eminent Professor Kofi Ejekum, otherwise known as Openia Ejekum, he was Dean of the
Department of Linguistics.
Thank you. Somebody knows good news. So you can imagine where he's coming from, vast experience. If you pay attention to him a lot, you realize that he's constantly reminding us of the decency of our language and all of that. So we're asking him to come and talk to us about why it's important that if there's a language policy, we must know it and where it should apply and all of that. It's basically an open discussion. The format that we use on Culture Chat allows for interaction. So he could be talking and somebody would want to ask a question. We don't mind that type of format so that it's free-flowing and people can freely think through questions and ask. So basically that's what's happening. The bottom line is that when it's all said and done, do filmmakers, do musicians, do actors recognize that whichever language out of Ghana you choose to use, we should be projecting it in a manner that makes somebody say, wow, I want to learn how to speak Ebe. Wow, I love Ghana. I'm proud of speaking Dagbang. I hear now I hear the proper pronunciation is Dagbanle.
So not Dagbani.
It's not Dagbani, it's Dagban. I learned that last week. I was up north. So, there are all these neat things that we must want to do to project us. There's nothing negative about any aspect of our culture, and yet somehow we keep missing out on that. So we're hoping that Culture Chat will push that type of discussion. And so we're looking forward to seeing those who are in all aspects of our culture, all aspects of arts and culture, joining us tomorrow.
So, do you think that, we are not proud of our local languages as a people? That's why we are unable to project it more? Or what exactly could be the problem?
My personal view, I think that somehow we've belittled who we are through our language. So if you take Chi, for example, every now and then you get all kinds of languages mixing with Chi. They say there's something called Chinglish. I don't know if you heard that one. People, and we, because of that, we're losing a lot of our words. And I'm speaking about Chi because that's my language. There's Hausa, there's Ewe, there's Dagbanli, there's all these languages. And somehow words are getting lost and all of that. And some people don't even know how to speak their own language. All of that should be a concern for us. Those are the things that make us stand out in the world. There's no country apart from the countries in West Africa where you find Chi-speaking people or Hausa-speaking people or Ewe-speaking people. So we should be proud of that and project that instead of trying to push it away and speak English, which we don't do very well at. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We should be, so that's basically the direction that we're looking at.
My colleagues will be coming in, but language is our pride. I want to know, what is it that you want to achieve? The basic thing you want to achieve with this?
By the time we're done, if you're a filmmaker, we won't be able to solve this in a day, so that's not the point. By the time the program is done, if you're a filmmaker, you're a musician, you're a scriptwriter, whatever, we must want to project language, Ghanaian language, indigenous Ghanaian language. It doesn't matter which of them you choose. We must want to project them in a positive light so that down the line in the future, people are proud of it. 2, we must position ourselves such that we can put pressure on government and therefore the state and therefore government to pay attention to those details about our arts and culture so that we can get things done, create the right environment for us.
Okay, I guess this is just one of the points where we really need to see ourselves as, for the general public, and with the sort of mentality that people walk around with, how do they get to be a part of this? And what is it that you want to send across to them also, not just the professionals who may be, part of this?
How, in terms of participating?
Yes.
Oh, please, come to National Theatre.
Okay.
It's at Folks Place. It's at 6 o'clock. The format that we choose to use is basically a conversation format. So if you got in at 6, there'll be performances for you to see. If you have a performance, we might even invite you impromptu.
Okay.
Because we don't have a lot of money, we're not paying people. So, but we're opening it, so people can come. But typically, we've had artists perform. We had a group. The first one, we had a group from Bukom. I forget their name. It was a group of young people. When I say young, teenagers performing. It was beautiful. You have poets perform and all that. So there's that performance. Then at 6:30 is when the discussion starts. And that's when the guest speaker or speakers start. In this case, Professor Jekum will be the one who will be speaking.
Okay.
And then, so he'll normally be given about 10, 15 minutes, and then there's interaction.
Okay.
But even within the 10, 15 minutes, if you are so inspired to ask a question, nobody will stop you.
Okay. So
And everybody can walk in there, it's
interactive.
free. Yes.
Okay.
You can walk in. We're doing, what do you call those, links?
Okay.
So people from across the world who
We'll be able to
are notified can join
be able
us
to
as well.
watch. Okay.
So there's a, I don't know these things very well, but there's a link.
Yeah, a link. Of
Yeah,
course.
if you go on the National Theatre, I know if you go to the National Theatre Facebook
you'll
page,
be able to find that.
you'll be able to find that link. In
Okay.
case, I know you guys travel
Yeah.
across the world.
Yeah. But when is this happening?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
6 o'clock in the evening is when we want you to be seated, come and relax. And then we tend to have some small chops.
Yeah,
Ghana made small chops.
that's very
Okay.
important.
Okay.
Okay, I guess this is where we'll have
Right.
to wrap it up. Language is our pride.
Yeah.
I mean, get you, Mr. Okobi.
Yeah.
Okobi, what are your china?
Because the men fronting these are big.
Yeah.
Yeah, big
There's
people.
Fritz Baffle.
Right.
Yeah.
there's Opinion.
Renowned Fritz Baffle. you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should all try and go.
And it's important that I say this. It's for us to begin to fight for what is Ghanaian. If we've been fighting in the past, let's fight some more. If we haven't, let's start.
Okay.
You know, and these are the kinds of things that we're looking at.
Thank you very much for coming.
My privilege. Thank you for having me.